Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Monty, one half of Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast. We're produced out of Indie Music TV in New York. That's Ron Conkema, New York. Yes, again, that's Indie Music TV. You could also catch us on RTF Sports Network. That's RTF Sports Network, the number one growing streaming sports network on the air today. Catch us every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yes, we're their anchor show. And catch our rerun on a morning drive time from 10 to 11 a.m. You could also catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page, the Facebook Live Monty and the Pharaoh page, Twitch TV Monty and the Pharaoh page, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, or any streaming network. We're on it. You can find us anywhere. Also catch us on New York Cable, Channel 115, every Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also catch us Saturday mornings on Channel 115 from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And catch us Saturday morning at 1:30 a.m. on Channel 20. Soon we'll be coming to Amazon, so catch us there also. We want to thank everybody for the support. And again, please catch us every Thursday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., Monty the Pharaoh, Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast, new, old, endangered, and let's have a little fun. Talk to you soon.
Val Venus here, and I got a message for the Monty and Farrell show. The Big Val Boski and the Right to Censor. We are watching you because the content of your entire show has been flagged, has been reported to the Right to Censor as unacceptable. So we have been watching the Monty and Farrell show. And Monty and Farrell, I think it's time for you and the RTC to come together. And you need to shut your mouths, open your ears, absorb the information we give you the privilege of hearing, and adjust your moral code accordingly. We will be watching you, Monty and Farrell. The Big Val Boski is watching you. Watch the Monty and Farrell show with the Big Val Boski and report any misdeeds to the RTC.
Somebody say something about Long Island. What do you think about? You think about Monty? You think about Pharaoh? You think about the number one wrestling show in Long Island? That's what Tommy Wildfire Rich thinks about. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a good friend of mine on Georgia Championship Wrestling said to me one time, he said, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. Be there.
Yeah, baby. Perfect.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast, straight out of Indie Music TV here in Ronkonkoma, Long Island. And at the board is our pal, our superstar, Mr. Matty Ice. Matty, how are you, buddy?
Doing all right.
Doing all right. What'd you do this weekend?
Nothing.
Great.
That's why he's doing all right.
Great.
Trouble.
Well, you got something upcoming this weekend, right?
Yes, I am super excited for what's coming up tomorrow.
Well, we got Saturday. We got Mike Knox and Savio Vega, and then the following Saturday you got Dr. Dre and Gina Marie Zimmerman.
Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps.
Yes.
Let's make sure we got that clear.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But very excited to have both of them in, too, on a special holiday edition, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
Good morning, ladies and germs. How are you out there?
First of all, I want to thank you for a really outstanding show last week, the history of the Intercontinental title. Really enjoyed that episode.
Had a great time with that. 41 years of glorious title changes, and it was a good show. Really enjoyed it. And learned something on the fly, too. You know?
You were saying
we're like
that.
teaching ourselves as we're going along, but I thought it was fantastic. I got a lot of good feedback, too. The fans dug it, so thank you out there.
Absolutely, and thank you for all the subs and everybody supporting us.
Oh, yeah.
It really means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
So we were talking before the show, we were just laughing, and I was telling Jimmy that, on Channel 33 here in New York, you got a lot of old shows on. I think it's Me TV, or I think it's called, right?
Old guys.
And we were talking about Happy Days. For some of you younger people, you may not get this whole thing, but
Happy Days.
Happy Days was a big time show for us back when we were kids, right?
It was huge.
So, I guess they play episode after season, and then each episode, and they're like in episode 11,
season 11, like episode 5 or 7.
Oh, you caught like one of the later ones?
Oh my God! So it's like
they renamed the show Crappy Days.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It becomes the Joni and Chachi show, and Richie Cunningham is off in
Well,
the
did you know, like,
military, and
Fonzie-
so's Ralph Mouth.
Did you know that Fonzie hooked up with like this girl who has a kid?
Dude, I've erased those last seasons. I remember nothing. It was bad enough he jumped the shark.
Oh,
know
that
what I
was
mean?
way back though.
Right, but that
Cunningham
was,
was still
enough.
on the
yeah,
show.
Cunningham, but even he couldn't save it.
I think it went out when he left. He was like he knew when Ron Howard knew when to get out. Right?
Bucko. I love Richie Cunningham.
So we also talk about like on Saturday, like at 11 they've got Star Trek, which we always love Star Trek.
Yeah.
After that is Buck Rogers.
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
I like.
I never watched it growing up, but I do like it.
It's pretty cheesy, but I enjoy it.
And then
Go on.
right after that is the Night Stalker,
That's the greatest.
which is like,
That's the greatest.
but it only made one season, dude.
Right. They only made one season with the great Darren
Can you tell the
McGavin
fans
as
out there?
Kolchak.
Can you tell the fans out there like what Night Stalker is about?
Well, Kolchak plays a reporter, but he's also very keen to the supernatural, and he has numerous run-ins with the supernatural. As a reporter for a major paper in Chicago, I think that they're in Chicago, and his boss never believes him. And he's always on top of it. He's like, it's a zombie, you gotta believe me. You nuts, Kolchak. Have another beer and a bagel. But Kolchak never, and the police can't stand him because he's always asking the truth, and they don't want to, they're always covering up the supernatural.
Oh, so they already know that it's
They
supernatural?
know half the time. It was a great show. It was only one season, but I loved it.
I caught one the other night because, again, I need my sleep, right? But I wake up and I'm ready for a nice episode of Night Stalker, and they have one with like a robot, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
caught-
bed.
You caught one of the weep womps.
It was, yeah, it was it's
Well-
like ripping the buildings down. I'm like, this sucks.
Right. Not exactly the headless.
It might have been
motorcycle
it might have been
rider
a
episode.
later Kolchak, like
There's only one
episode,
season.
yeah,
How
but it
late
might have
did
been
it
like
go?
episode 23.
Right,
like
right.
they used all the good ones from 1 to 11.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What
And
are you
nothing
gonna
worse than catching a bad Star Trek episode too.
do? Yeah.
I hate
Although
like Mud episodes, like when Mud's in it. I hate that.
They'll throw away the key.
I hate Harry Mudd.
Always
Oy.
lucky to catch if you can catch the Gorn in the arena.
The Gorn's incredible. The Gorn was such an influence that it trickled into the Pharaohs programming. I mean, I love the Gorn episode. But bad Star Trek. But then again, you like some bad Star Trek.
Oh, I do.
Abe Lincoln is the greatest thing ever.
Abe Lincoln is one of the great. Help me, Spock.
I will say that it's
Help
it's,
me,
it's funny
Spock.
shit to watch. I mean, it's a fun episode, but it is not the Gorn. It's
Jim. I friggin' love it, dude.
terrible. Help me, Spock. It's terrible.
Help me.
Oh my god.
Spock, and they're like laughing in the corner, the Klingon and the
what
other
a classic
dude.
show. What if the spirit to his back?
Oh, we were lucky growing up anyway.
Yeah, we were.
I'd like to thank the band that sings our theme song, Riding High, Wisteria Hall. Our own Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner, Bart Griggs, make the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dream, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain.
Riding
and you
High.
could-
Don't forget Riding High.
Well, we just said
Did you
Riding
say
High is
Riding
the
High?
theme song, brother.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
I did.
No, I like to repeat myself. Go on.
You can find their music on Spotify, iTunes, and Reverb Nation. Anywhere else you guys are selling your music right now?
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to check with the Bart man. He's more the brain.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was
brain of
taking
it.
a shower this morning and I was singing Riding High in the shower.
Wow, I've drawn a blank. I don't want to picture you singing in the shower.
Well, I was just like,
You've got me
Riding
uncomfortable right now. What are you using,
high.
Dove soap?
I don't want to ruin the song with my voice, but, Monty Nefaro can be seen on YouTube, Facebook Live on the Monty Nefaro page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, the Monty Nefaro page, Channel 115, yes, that's cable every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30, and on Channel 115 on Saturdays from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m., and also catch us on Channel 20 on Friday mornings. That's a few hours from now from 2 a.m. to 2:30 a.m.
Thanks to our supporters, too, on YouTube, been lighting up the views just with everything.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
It has been.
Matty, you catch yourself on cable at all, brother?
I have not.
You got to catch yourself.
Yeah,
You're on there a lot.
I'm not much of a cable guy,
You're a streamer.
Yeah,
He's a
You're
just-
streamer.
just like the rest of my generation.
Well, with that, we'll be right back after this commercial break, and we'll get on to our show, AEW Making the Move.
All righty, we shall return.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty DeFaro, only seen here out of Indie Music TV in Long Island, New York. So, Farrell,
Yeah.
I didn't ever think the day would come,
What's that?
but it has arrived.
What has arrived?
We're going to talk about AEW in in-depth
You
conversation.
made me watch AEW all week.
Oh, my God,
you
dude.
bastard.
I never knew. I just never took it seriously. You know, when
Oh,
it
you
first
do now?
came out.
So now you do. Okay.
Now I am
Okay.
taking it seriously,
Okay.
man.
Interesting.
It's getting my attention,
Okay.
obviously.
It's had mine from day one, depending on the degree of attention, but go on. I got you.
And then recently, right, we know Kenny Omega won the AEW title in what
Yeah.
Don Callis is calling the golden screw job in reference to the Montreal screw job. By the way,
That's whatever.
so they ended up going on to Impact Wrestling,
Yeah.
raised the views,
55,000 views.
which isn't bad.
For Impact, it's amazing. For Impact. Go on.
So are you taking AEW seriously at this point?
Again, since the beginning, I have taken AEW seriously, depending on what degree. Right now, I'm trying to keep all of this in perspective. For example, this week, I am impressed with the fact that they almost got 1 million viewers. They got 995,000 viewers.
Wow.
However,
Wow.
they usually get around 700,000. I do strongly believe that the extra 300,000 or so were not as much for Kenny Omega as they were to see Sting. And, logically, stay with me, folks, how many of these 300,000 extra ones were WWE fans? I'm a WWE. I tuned in to see Sting. You tuned in to see Sting.
No,
So are they?
I didn't.
You didn't?
We'll talk about that
But you
later.
weren't curious about Sting?
No.
Okay, well, I was, and
Okay.
I do believe that a lot of those extra 300,000 people were some WWE fans who wanted to see Sting. So, how much of this is it a good move? Yes. Do they have good momentum right now? Yeah, they do. But let's see what they do with it. Impact concerns me because Impact's cable reach stinks. Okay, this is important to me.
Okay.
You're talking about 55,000 new pairs of eyes tuned into Impact. There's 50 states in this country. What are we talking about? 1,000 people in a state? That's if you want to get weird and break it down that way. That's not a lot. That's not enough. They're not even on our cable system, Mike.
Yeah, I understand.
Impact has been very hard to find lately.
Well, I will tell you,
especially in this area.
will-
I'm sure you could find it in certain ways.
Here's what attracted me, and
Yeah.
this is again, Don Callis.
Yeah,
I never knew this guy was this talent. Look, I remember him as the Jackal,
he's annoying as crap, and he always has been.
but he's highly talented. I did not realize the talent level. of
Oddly
this guy.
enough, you know where I picked up on? This is going to sound strange. I feel like he's morphing into this. I don't think he was always this.
Okay.
He started to actually catch my attention and up his game when he was commentating, believe it or not, in New Japan. And I started to say to myself, you know what? This guy might be the time for this
can I
guy.
ask you, though, when you
'Cause
saw him
in the past, he was a bit player, man.
But
in
when you
ECW.
saw him in New Japan and he
Yeah.
was like Cyrus the Virus
Yeah.
and the Jackal,
Yeah.
weren't you like this guy sucks? Like when you watch him, is this the Jackal doing announcing now?
Once again, I never liked him until he was announcing in New Japan, and he started to slowly grow on me. Oh, what he is right now is incredibly irritating. So I guess he's doing his job. He's incredibly irritating.
He's got a cool look to him now. He's got those rose-colored glasses. He's
really?
walking around with Omega.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like I was
Not
watching.
sure if that's a cool look, but okay.
On Impact,
It's working.
He was throwing shots at Josh Matthews, calling him like a Connecticut, stooge, and
Right.
Omega saying,
Right.
things where where Josh is they're going to do the Lex Express type of thing in the bus. I like the way they're attacking the WWE
Right.
to a certain level.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
impressing me.
No, they're doing a good job. I mean, you're finally getting to see Kenny Omega come closer to where he's supposed to be in the scheme of things. I don't necessarily think he needs Don Callis, to tell you the truth. But if you think it's enhancing it, then fine. I
personally think it is.
I think Kenny Omega talks great on his own. Quite honestly,
I never took Omega seriously.
I've
I've told you that. I know you're always a big fan. I never took him.
I've always taken him seriously, Kenny Omega. He can be very entertaining. So let's see where we go with this.
Well,
right now.
here's my big question here, right? Omega's threatening to go to all the companies and collect championships.
Yeah.
In your mind, does this make the AEW championship become the new NWA title? And do we consider him the real world champion?
Well, that's an interesting question because that forces me to actually go to myself, what is the most legitimate world title in the professional wrestling world? Well, sorry, folks, it's the WWE World Heavyweight title. Number two,
wait, let me ask you.
It's the most legitimate World Heavyweight Championship
World
in the professional
title,
wrestling
Universal
world. It's the biggest
title,
one. It's
which
WrestleMania.
one? But which one? Universal title or world title?
The WWE World title.
Roman
not
Reigns.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Not the Universal
Understood.
title. Okay? And in my opinion, the number 2 belt in the entire world for World Heavyweight Champion is the one that's represented at the Tokyo Dome every January. It's the New Japan World Heavyweight title. So I consider the New Japan World Heavyweight title more important in the world and in the scheme of things than the AEW title.
Okay, but
let's go slow with this. When AEW eventually can get, I'm very impressed that they got to 1 million almost this week. This is big.
But think about.
So let's see where this goes. I'm not ready to declare them the number 2 in the world.
I don't mean if
the number 2 in the country.
Think about the game they're playing.
It's the number 2 belt in the country.
If he's going to travel and defend his AEW title in all these other organizations.
What are all these other ones, though? Unless he takes
goes to New Japan.
That I will say, that's a great move.
Goes to MLW.
And so what?
Goes to Ring of Honor.
They're
but
smaller.
Still, he's sitting there taking his title and traveling.
I think it's good for the business. I think it's good for those companies. But how good will that be for AEW? Let's put it this way. Stone Cold Steve Austin decides to go to Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 1997. What? How is that good for WWE?
Great question. I'm going to answer that.
Okay.
And I want your feedback on that.
It wouldn't be back then.
Fair enough to say maybe the greatest heel in the all-time of wrestling was Mr. McMahon?
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon, in the late 90s, cut his teeth in Memphis Championship Wrestling under Jerry Lawler.
Okay.
So your question was, what does AEW got to gain? What did the WWE have to gain? They formed their character. So if he goes from organization to organization, willing to work with AEW.
This is a totally different situation. Vince wasn't heavyweight champion of the world. Vince wasn't an active wrestler on a weekly basis. This is a much different comparative to me.
If you find out that, again, I'm just going to throw a name out because I don't watch MLW, but you find out that Kenny Omega is going to go to MLW and wrestle a Von Erich brother for a title.
Right.
Interest?
Well, let me put it this way. How interested were you when Cody was fighting guys from other places?
I'm not a big Cody fan.
You weren't that interested, right?
I'm not a big Cody fan. I never have been. I feel that he's a mediocre player at best, not business-wise. I respect his business.
Better take him seriously.
As a wrestler, I don't find him excellent. I think he's serviceable.
Really?
I think
he's better than he ever was in the WWE.
But I will tell you though,
the way it is now,
that's a great response to me, and I'll respond to you on this.
They should have let him be this in the WWE.
When you can sit there and talk about the enemy, the WWE, with passion, you can have a great promo like Cody Rhodes did. But you got to understand something. Once the fire starts to smolder a little and kind of dissipate, you got to stand on your own 2 feet. You've got to build. Right now, it's us against the WWE. It's the world against the WWE. So everything that you see coming from a shot. Look, AEW's building its reputation on every week. You don't know what else is going to happen.
Right.
What dude is going to jump ship and show up on their show?
Right.
Eventually, that story is going to run out.
Yeah.
You run out of guys that are going to jump ship and shock the world.
And they're not even that major. I'm sorry, Rusev is not a major. No.
He's good for a couple. He's good for a couple of weeks.
Right.
But I do like the approach that Omega is going to go from organization. I think it's a smart approach.
I think it's great. It can't hurt the business. It can't hurt those companies. I don't think it'll hurt AEW at all. It's helping them.
Got me watching.
It's fine.
It's got me watching.
It's fine. I don't know how far it can go, though. You're asking me how far it can go. Right now, like I said, I think that they're not even the number 2 belt in the world.
Right.
Okay, and you can argue all you want, but come on, they're not selling out the Tokyo Dome every year for the last whatever. It's not more important right now in the world.
Well, again, you bring up a good point. Once COVID passes,
right,
and all people start being able to return to arenas,
right,
it's a big question now. That's where you're really going to
find out.
You're going to cut your teeth then,
you're
right?
You're going to find out.
You got to see
right.
how many people are going to. You're AEW at this point. Let me ask you something. You do a house show. You draw 5,000 people. Successful or not?
No.
10,000.
Yes.
Okay, so you got to be at 10,000.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
And that's barely successful. Fair enough.
And we know because we spent years going to house shows, decades going to house shows, measuring the success of a company,
Absolutely.
depending on the draw.
Absolutely.
So we know what we're looking at.
I agree with you, 100%.
Yep.
So you said to me, hey, you watched AEW because of Sting. You asked me, I said no.
Well, not just because of Sting. I did watch because of Omega, but I always liked Omega.
I understand.
But Sting absolutely put extra people on the couch this week.
So Sting,
there's no doubt.
Sting arriving to AEW. I'm going to tell you personally. I want you to respond.
Yeah.
I always felt Sting was very overrated.
No way. Sting's effing great.
Why?
And I'm not a huge fan of Sting.
Why was he great?
Because Sting was WCW's Undertaker. He was. Sting, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Sting
you got to go back, though.
Yeah.
Further.
What,
okay?
Hawaiian surfboard Sting?
Yes.
Okay.
That
guy was a main event guy, too.
But
I couldn't stand him.
But he was a main event thanks to who? Flair.
Well, you could do that with a lot of guys when it comes to Ric Flair. Ric Flair is, oh my God, Ric Flair could make me famous in a minute with a couple
all right, so
of chops.
Here's my point.
And a woo.
Here's my point.
Woo.
Sting was great when Flair was big and NWA was doing.
Sting is great, dude.
Right? Wait a minute, hold on.
God.
You have those lean years in the 90s where he was WCW and there was nothing going on.
Dude, you want to go after Lex more? I could understand that. Not Sting. Lex was an overrated
Dude, he was in TNA
superstar.
for how many years? 5, 6 years? Did you ever watch him in TNA? Did you care?
To tell you the truth, what I thought was exciting about that period you're referring to in TNA was these young, was the young guy, Samoa Joe.
Right.
AJ. Kurt Angle was great
But
in
I never
TNA.
heard you talking about Sting. Oh, my God, I got to watch Sting.
No. Kurt Angle was great in TNA.
When Sting came to WWE, you excited?
Yes, I was. And that was terrible. I'm sorry. This is how I feel about that. I don't like how they handled Sting when he came here. I thought it was bullshit. Sting should have pinned Triple H. You want to really get going here? Sting should have pinned Triple H. You want to tell me Sting, Undertaker absolutely gets that pinfall. You want to tell me Stone Cold Sting, Stone Cold gets that pinfall. The Rock gets that pinfall. You are not telling me that Triple H is no.
Dude, the Monday night Messiah was no longer on Monday.
Guy.
No longer on Monday. When Rollins wrestled him,
yes,
Sting couldn't keep up with Rollins. It wasn't even close.
Fair.
It was terrible.
Fair.
And Rollins was working his ass off in
Rollins
that match.
is prolific in the ring. Rollins is great, and lately he gets very little love.
All I'm saying is,
it's
great Sting's there. What are they going to do with the guy?
I don't know.
Can't put him in a ring. You can't have him wrestle.
I mean, and honestly, here I go again with the name. I can't help it. But if NXT wants to take... See, this was significant, though, because NXT and AEW usually very close in the ratings.
Right.
700,000 or so, 695, 639, whatever. Mm-hmm. This week, it was the usual 639 to 700,000 for NXT, and there's AEW with 1 million almost. 5,000 viewers short of 1 million. That's a great job. In one quick fix.
Yeah, but you know what?
In one quick fix, CM Punk invades NXT. It goes right back. Bye-bye. So much for your momentum. It really all depends on what the WWE choose to do with this. Okay, you want to bring Sting in? We'll bring Punk in!
But that's my honest...
I mean, get competitive about it.
But
blow them out of the water with a response.
I don't feel like they care enough. I feel
You're
like...
right.
I don't think they take... I don't know if it's complacent.
Is it
I almost think they don't think they're that serious a threat.
That's complacency, dude. That, to me, is the definition of
Well, it's worrying me then. Because I feel like with the NXT show, it's pure wrestling.
Yes.
There's no good vignettes. You don't get that character build, right? It's all done on the wrestling part of it. Like, they try to do some decent
They do
vignettes,
some stuff.
but it's not the stuff that AEW's doing, that old school stuff, what we grew up on.
Right.
They're not doing that. It's like Triple H has got this mindset. We're gonna use this strategy regardless, and we're not going to react to what's happening in AEW.
NXT's a good show, though. I mean, for the purist, it gives you what you want.
Yeah, for the purist.
Yeah.
I'm not a purist. I've never been a purist wrestling
well,
guy.
NXT's not your show then. Raw is. SmackDown is. SmackDown's probably your favorite TV
Yeah,
show
it
right
is.
now. There you
But
go.
I got to tell you what, and for me to stay glued to something, I watched AEW pretty much all the way through, which I've never done.
I got to tell you, right now, you know what, though? Let's be fair to ourselves. I think we even mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Lately, AEW is the most entertaining. It is. I'm enjoying it.
I am.
You forced me to watch it this week. I was
I
like,
am.
hey, this is not so bad. I was liking it, you know?
Well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll continue to discuss AEW making the move. Jimmy, I got to take a dump.
What?
No, I mean, I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah. Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design.
Funny shit.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, seen every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. So, Jimmy, not a heated debate, but we don't necessarily on the same side of the fence on some things. I want to ask you about this. So, again, everybody knows Busted Open, probably the most famous wrestling radio show on the air next to ours.
Okay.
But I realized something the other day. I was listening at work. I just put it on and I'm working, whatever. Tommy Dreamer was on when the whole thing went down. It was the Monday before they were going to Impact. Callis and
Omega
were going to Impact.
All right.
And Tommy Dreamer was being interviewed by Bully Ray and LaGreca.
Right. Now, they normally are the two guys on the show.
Well, Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer like alternate, and then I think
Okay.
Mark Henry comes in on Friday
with
or Saturday,
LaGreca being
right?
the consistent.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, right.
Gotcha. Go on.
So anyway, Dreamer is trying to, and I'm using Dreamer like your boy there. He's trying to keep kayfabe.
Okay.
He sucks. Dude, I'm sorry. Now I know why I
Really
could
now?
not stand him as a wrestler. I'm like, dude, you can't even, you couldn't convince me to buy water in a desert, dude. I mean, oh my God. He's trying to act like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's
right.
going to happen to Impact. They may buy Impact. Shut up. I was like...
Not as effective as the Genetti segment.
Not even close,
I didn't
dude.
think
And
so.
I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
Now I know why I never even liked Tommy Dreamer as a wrestler. With all due respect, the guy's awful.
Oh, my God.
Awful, bro. Awful.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear it.
Awful wrestler. Awful.
I
You know
don't
what?
know about that.
He needs to go to the.
That I don't know about.
He needs to go to the training center in the
Would
WWE
you-
and go
would
over
you
a friggin'.
Please? He's going to come in here with a kendo stick.
Dude,
What are you
he
doing?
seriously, he needs help.
I don't want him
He
coming
needs
in here
work.
with a kendo stick.
He needs work, man.
He needs work.
With all due respect.
What is it? What is it about the look that bothers you? What
What do you mean?
Tommy Dreamer's look. Let's get into
It's not his look. It's his friggin' delivery on lines. I mean, holy
delivery on
shit.
lines?
It's terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
What is this, like season 11 of Happy Days? Is that what
It's
you get?
worse.
So Joni and Chachi are like Oscar-worthy compared to
You
this.
ain't kidding.
Wow, that's
I'm sitting there
now
listening.
that's
to,
a diss.
I was excited
poor
to
Tommy.
actually
What is
watch
this?
Impact to see what was going on with Omega.
Okay.
He almost ruined it for me. I'm like, I ain't going to watch this shit. This guy
Wow.
sucks. This guy.
This is a former ECW world champion.
Yeah, well, that
I
doesn't
see
mean
you
much.
don't mean, yeah. What? All right, leave the company alone. You don't have to like the wrestler. That's fine. But leave Paul Heyman's company alone.
Bad
please.
wrestler. Always knew he was a bad wrestler.
This is rough.
And boy, Mike skills.
not right.
Please go to the WWE Training Center, bro. In fact, I got to tell you this. I'm going to say this to you, Pharaoh. Don't talk about wrestling when you can't, and you're a wrestler and you can't even sell anything like that. Here's your opportunity, dude. You're in TNA, right? You're in Impact Wrestling.
Right.
You're part of them.
Yeah.
And this is one of your biggest shining moments.
It is.
And you, for him, fuck yeah.
No, it's not. No, this is his history. He's a former ECW.
I'm talking about
Now,
for
you mean
Impact.
now? Like,
yeah,
make it
now,
count.
right?
Make it count.
Omega,
Come on, this is it.
AEW.
Give us
This is
something.
it. Give us something. Exactly.
All right, fine.
Exactly.
That's messed up.
Honestly,
now I have to see it.
It's like Bully Ray
don't.
every day talking about, every
Bully.
Monday talking about Monday Night Raw and on how bad the story writing is. Meanwhile, he was one of the lead bookers in the old TNA and
What
was the drizzling shits.
the aces and eights stuff?
I'll get aces
I
and
like
eights wasn't
aces
bad.
and
All right,
eights. Leave,
you know what?
Leave
Good
the
call.
Dudley boy alone.
How
He's
about
a
the
Dudley
Brooke
boy.
Hogan one? The Brooke Hogan.
The marriage swear?
Oh my God! How bad?
That was hilarious.
Bad.
That was hilarious.
It was bad.
How bad was it compared to Billy and Chuck's wedding?
Billy and Chuck was much better.
That's what I was afraid of.
Much better.
Billy and Chuck made me want to stop watching wrestling.
You know what? It figures you'd call aces and eights out. That's about the only good
I
thing they
liked
wrote.
aces and eights. What's wrong with me? Probably a lot. Yeah.
The Main Event Mafia was good too.
It's okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
So anyway, my point is, dude, Tommy Dreamer sucks, man. Please, come on, bro.
Oh my God!
Weigh in.
I don't think he sucks, and I didn't see what you're talking about. But I'll take your word for it. If he sucked ass, he sucked ass. I don't know what to say. You know, I was never the biggest fan of Tommy Dreamer, but at the same time, I consider the old word serviceable. He played his roles in ECW fine. It is what it is. But
Where does Tommy Dreamer rank in the Pharaoh 500?
I can't even think about that. I would have in the Pharaoh.
In the Pharaoh 500. We're not forget PWI 500. It's Pharaoh 500.
Oh, can I answer that next week? 500.
I'll answer it for you. You ready?
What, is he 757?
No, but 3,221.
That's not right. Wow.
3,221 in the Pharaoh 500.
You've got him past the 10th planet.
Dude, I can name 3,220 wrestlers better than Tommy Dreamer.
Really rough.
And if you just consider his mic skills,
I'm going to be careful when I pull into the parking lot next week, dude. He's going to come out here.
Honestly, I don't think he'll be a guest on this show.
Well, that's true too. Actually, yeah, I think he's afraid to come on this show, isn't he? Isn't there something something like I'm not going near those fucking weirdos?
That's what I heard.
Those guys are weird.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So let me ask you this. Every week, we were talking about people complaining about Raw. What do you consider the worst wrestling show on television right now, in your opinion?
Oh, well, what are we qualifying here? Let's the 3 WWE shows, AEW show.
Sure.
Is there any other show?
Throw Impact in there.
I don't even see Impact.
I know, but just throw it in there.
I'm not going to throw it in there.
NWA
You know
Power?
what?
You can't
No,
throw that
I'm
in
not
there?
gonna throw it.
So then you got.
Here's the 4.
You got 4.
Here's
Three
the
WWE shows.
That's right.
Okay,
Here's
go
the
ahead.
4, and this is how I see them right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you want my personal opinion?
Personal
on
opinion.
The ones I prefer right now.
Personal opinion.
Very interesting. Okay.
Don't care about anyone else. I want Pharaoh's
Very
opinion.
interesting. Well, this is going to be kind of weird. Actually, right at the given moment, I like AEW the most.
It's fair. Can't argue with it.
Right at the given moment, I like AEW the most. I would say I like SmackDown next. So it doesn't always have to be a wrestling clinic for me.
Right.
I like SmackDown next.
What's the best storyline in wrestling right now?
Ooh. Well, the most interesting is what Omega is pulling right now, to tell you the truth.
Because it's new?
Yeah, I kind of like what's
Over
going
what
on.
Reigns is doing?
Reigns has been that's a good storyline too. Okay, maybe they run parallel right now as far as my interest.
All right, so here lies my question. So
I didn't say the other two though, because NXT would be third,
and then Raw's
and
last.
then Raw, and that sucks because Raw's the one that
All
I
right,
want to see do
so
the
you
best.
speak about Raw, right?
Yeah.
So the pro wrestling experts are out there every Monday saying, "Hey, look, Raw sucks. It's the same matches every week. The storylines suck."
Okay.
And then you got Tommy Dreamer, who's a mark for Impact and now a mark for AEW because they're in cahoots together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this isn't about attacking Tommy Dreamer, okay? But the fact of the matter is...
Sure?
No, but if you're going to be a radio personality...
Yeah.
You have to have a fair, open mind. You can't have an agenda.
Right.
Okay? Because it just skews everything. And if you can't sell your agenda properly, like Tommy Dreamer couldn't.
Well, here's the deal. If you're going to be a radio personality, you got to have something called personality.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's the deal.
Thank
and
you.
if you don't have that, say la vie.
Right.
You know? So if you're telling me he sold it like shit, I trust you. He sold it like shit. It's the way it goes.
So then my point to you is
Whatever.
this. He's on there saying, oh, my God, AEW's got this huge roster. They're building this huge roster. I'm sorry. To me, the roster's lean.
And if I may, for a brief moment, remind people, even though Raw currently is at the bottom of my 4, I would rather watch Raw, I don't care how this comes across, any day over Impact, because their champion is Rich Swann.
Yeah, right.
And here comes Eric Young. And here comes... Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. I would rather see Drew McIntyre... you know whatever happened to the darling of the Indies, Drew McIntyre? Now he's not cool anymore because he's WWE champion?
Well, of course. Right.
You're so hypocritical.
Absolutely.
People are so hypocritical. Finn Balor, by the way, here we got NXT going up head-to-head with AEW. Are you going to tell me that Finn Balor is no longer the indie darling? Oh, no, he's no good no more. Finn Balor's effing awesome. Anyone who's an indie person knows how great he still is. And if Finn Balor and Kenny Omega were in the ring, it'd be a dream match. So don't tell me that the WWE is not representing their brands correctly. Drew McIntyre's an excellent champion. He's got a great look. He might be dealing with COVID right now.
But it might not be.
We'll judge him more when the fans come back.
To be fair to the wrestler,
but he was an indie darling, and now he's no good because he's holding Vince's belt. To
be fair to the pro wrestling experts, I think their problem isn't the wrestler.
It's the writing.
It's the writing.
That's
and everything.
fair, too.
But my point is this. AEW, sooner or later, is going to fall in the same bucket that WWE's in.
They do now sometimes. What, everything they do is good?
Well, you're 100% right. Every AEW show, it either starts with the Young Bucks.
There is some garbage.
The Young Bucks against
like
some indie
every other
team,
show.
right? Some indie team. The Young Bucks against indie. And I'm going to say this.
Wait.
I'm waiting for them to show up against Team Splendid. I'm ready for Team Splendid to come up against the Young Bucks.
I think they could take them.
And if anyone doesn't know what Team Splendid is, it's a team that we know from the.
I think that they could beat
from the Independent.
Don't you think they could be?
I'll tell you what.
In a dark alley, I bet you Team Splendid would kick the living crap out of them. There you go, boys. No, I'm serious. I think Bill Pierce would twist them into bookends. Hey, come on here. Bobby C would be smacking them with his mirror. Forget it. No contest. By the way, though, can I just say this?
Go ahead.
You crack me up. Every week there's a local indie team. The local indie team you were watching is 2 guys named Angelico and Jack Evans. Those guys were like major in Mexico. They've been around forever. But I think it's hilarious.
I think it's calling me out.
Yeah, no, I'm not calling you out. I just think to me, it's hysterical that when you see guys, you're like, so fucking what? Because honestly, I was watching Robin Hood the other day, 1941 with Errol Flynn.
Okay.
That's what those 2 guys look like. They come skating with the green spandex like, here comes Errol Flynn against 2 guys who are even smaller than they are.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. Last night they also had...
we go with the Samoans. Those were tag team champions. They were beasts. Now we've got...
Well, they also had what? They had Pillman Jr. He's part of the Blondes.
I like Pillman Jr. Leave him alone.
Dude, sorry.
He's
not like Daddy. He's not like Daddy.
Know
he's not even close to Daddy.
But that's because he's being packaged wrong. Get him a manager and make him evil.
You know what?
Be awesome.
You know what I compare Pillman Jr. to?
Oh, don't. I like Pillman Jr.
Curtis Axel.
Oh man, that's rough.
They're both on the same level.
That's so rough.
And then they give him the blondes name. What do they call them? Like street blondes or something like that?
Not
Hollywood blondes.
By the way, I love when they do this, and they do this with everybody, especially Jungle Boy. Wait till he fills out. When he fills out, it's going to look like me. Nothing's going to go on here, folks. You can forget it. Oh, we can't wait till he fills out.
Oh, my God.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, it's too much.
All right, after this commercial break, I want to discuss the 4-time NBA champ Shaq and Brandy Rhodes' vignette right after this commercial break.
Airball. We'll be right back.
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. You want to star in your own success? Call QuickCast. www.quickcast.com. 866-7-CAST-NOW. That's 866-7-CAST-NOW. QuickCast.
Start your own success.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty Nefaro, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. Real quick, Farrell, a couple of comments from the fans out there.
Shoot.
CK Rakestraw says, I love AEW NXT. I love AEW. NXT feels like it lacks something. I just can't put my finger on it.
I actually agree with that. There's a certain, can I use the word pizzazz? There's
Sure.
something not sexy about NXT, and it is missing something. And again, here we go with the fixes, but why can't they parachute CM Punk into that program? He'd take care of the ratings battle right off the bat. It does lack a certain sex appeal.
Your boy Timmy Tim says AEW is overrated. Say hello to Timmy. He's
What's
been out
up,
over a while.
Timmy Tim? I'm afraid to ask him what's up because he probably is that pervert. Anyway, go on. Oh my
Might be the
God.
pervert.
He was classic. How you doing, Tim?
All right, so let's talk. So, sitting back, watching Shaq and Brandy Rhodes discussing Brandy and Jade. Look, dude, I'm sorry. Brandy Rhodes sucks.
Where have you? I've been saying this from day one. The walking free pass.
The walking free pass.
She's a walking free pass. Never have I seen somebody parachute more undeservedly into the business. I get ill. She's right there with Foley's kid.
And by the way,
I'm sorry.
Tommy Dream is on the air today saying Brandy Rhodes is really upped her game.
Oh.
She is incredible.
Well, you know why she upped her game? Because she cursed. That's supposed to give her an edge now. Now I buy in.
Well, but
Do I look like a fool? Do I look like a fool? You put a couple of four-letter words in a bland as shit, no talent, empty sack of crap. I'm sorry. You know what this does to me every time you do this with Brandy. Brandy ignites something in me.
How about she's got the broken arm and she's nice and calm?
There are people sitting at home who love wrestling more in their little finger than that free pass. One day Cody Rhodes is going to smack me all over the place, and I'm probably going to deserve it. I can't
in this
stand,
corner, Brandy,
the
free pass.
I cannot stand Brandy Rhodes. Oh my God! You know Stephanie deserved to be in this business. Stephanie earned it. Stephanie's got character. Stephanie's got it. This one, get off my set.
AEW's got.
And what's with Shaquille O'Neal too? You annoyed me as a player. You were in my way. I'd rather see Patrick Ewing brushing his teeth.
I thought Shaq did a decent job.
Than this.
He did.
He did.
Brandy just ruined it.
Please, I can't anymore.
So they're going to replicate. They're going to go Shaq and Jade against the Rhodeses.
Oh, yeah.
To replicate Triple H Stephanie against Ronda and Kurt Angle.
Awful. I could care less. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I could care less. You know, is it giving them ratings, though? Is it causing people to pay attention to them because Shaq's there? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's making a damn bit of a difference.
So the phone rings. Triple H is on.
Yeah.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Need your help. AEW's kicking our butt. Come on in.
Yeah.
What are you doing? NXT. Forget WWE. We're talking about NXT.
What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing to fix NXT?
I don't think NXT needs fixing. I just think it needs a little more pizzazz. And I would immediately, it's not what I would do personally, it's what I would advise Triple H. And I would say get someone in there of massive impact like a Punk. I know that. And look, I'm tired of mentioning his name. He is a secret weapon that one of these companies is going to woo eventually. Before he's too old, he will return. And he's a secret weapon, and he's going to make a ton of money for somebody. So to me, I would highly advise WWE, while these other companies are making it all cutting edge and shit, be truly cutting edge. Bring in the guy with the pipe bomb. Bring in the guy who wrote Cutting Edge. Bring him back.
Interesting, but here's the problem.
Bring him back.
Interesting. Here's the problem, though.
A couple of real fights did not diminish him at this point. Fans want to see him. Bring him back.
WWE came out with a couple of WrestleMania matches that they're going to have, right? So it's going to
and they suck!
Well, hold on.
Go on.
It's going to be McIntyre against Keith Lee against Brock Lesnar in a three-way.
That's somewhat interesting.
You got Edge and Orton.
No thanks. I've seen it a couple of times.
And then you've got Goldberg Reigns.
Stop.
But I understand it.
Stop.
Why would you blow your load on The Rock
during the
against
pandemic?
Reigns during the pandemic?
I understand.
Why would you bring in CM Punk during a pandemic?
I understand.
So maybe it's sit back, let AEW crow, and then when it's time...
You never sit back. Do you actually hear yourself? When does Mike Monty ever sit
No,
back?
I agree.
You don't sit back and let someone else do damage. You do something about it.
But do you think that the hatred for the WWE, like, okay, for example...
Oh, it exists.
Cody Rhodes, we're talking about Brandy Rhodes Shaq. Terrible vignette, right?
Yeah, I thought it sucked.
Okay.
Shit.
Then you have the Inner Circle vignettes, which are great.
I love that.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Do you remember a couple weeks back when MJF and Chris Jericho did a whole song and dance vignette?
Yeah.
You enjoyed that?
Yep.
I did.
Yep.
If they would have did that with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton,
that would have been
do
terrible.
you think the pro wrestling experts would have shredded that to death?
Well, it also wouldn't have been good because they're not talented like that.
Well, I just picked two names out of a hat.
You picked two very drab guys compared to
All right,
MJF
so the
and
Miz,
Jericho.
The Miz and I don't know.
Maybe it could work. Maybe.
No, I think it would have been.
But is there
shit
a
on.
hypocritical thing? Yeah, of course.
It would have
there
been shit
is.
on.
Look, AEW does plenty of garbage too. The Dark Order makes me laugh every time I see them. I'm like, what is this?
I kind of liked it the Dark Order yesterday when they said to.
You say so.
When they said
Who's 10?
When they said
Here he comes. It's 10.
It's 10. That was in reference to 7, dude.
Of course it was.
It was great. I loved it.
That was actually hilarious.
I thought that was pretty funny for a wrestling fan. I thought it was funny.
That was hilarious, but I don't know, man. They're not always on to me. They do plenty wrong too.
Is this the best time in pro wrestling ever? Because that's what people are saying.
No,
this is the best time.
Ever.
How
for
could
pro
that wrestling?
Be? No, who's saying that? Didn't
the wrestling experts.
Didn't anybody live through the Monday Night Wars when the ratings were?
So where does this rank compared to all the generations?
Dude, I don't think this is better than the Hulkamania era where Hogan was doing his thing.
Close.
Where Hogan was doing his thing and Ric Flair was doing his thing.
Oh yeah,
at the end
no,
of it.
not even close.
How the hell is this the best time period? No, this is not the best time period. This is not even the second best.
I don't even think. I think it's equal.
You know what? Little prop to Evan Ginsberg. This doesn't come close to the Bruno Sammartino era.
No
what
way.
the hell are you
No
talking about? You know what I mean? I'd rather go to the Garden in the 70s and see Graham and Sammartino. Stop! No.
This is as bad as it was in the early 90s.
No, it's not. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's somewhere in the middle there. It could go either way. I don't know where it's heading, to tell you the truth. Vince McMahon has to be careful, though. But we always said that. We don't, sit here and just laugh like Vince is not going to ever be pushed around. It's happened before. I'm not sure if it's happening right now. I don't think so. And by the way, SmackDown's ratings were up this week. Do we want to mention that? They got over 2 million this week. They were up this week.
Right.
So it wasn't just AEW that went up. It was Vince. Vince went up too. He's had the highest ratings had in a while. So maybe it was just a good week for wrestling. Maybe. I don't know.
How about the Inner Circle trying to become the greatest faction in the history of pro wrestling?
Well, that's silly. Who says that? Do they say that?
Jericho.
Jericho says that. They're a very enjoyable faction. Can we give them a little time before we decide where they sit in the archives? I mean, how long have they been around? And now they're ready to possibly break up anyway. I love Wardlow. What are you staring at, Swagger? He won't stop looking at me.
That
shit's
it's
funny.
Good stuff.
It is funny. I think that the Inner Circle's excellent.
But that's where AEW's got me, right? They've got, there's not as much wrestling and a lot of good interaction.
You know what I loved? And I'll say this is a big difference between AEW and WWE. AEW does not do as many scripted things.
Yes, it's kind of
it feels more real.
Yes.
For example, when MJF started talking with the Inner Circle and Sammy Guevara was like, "Fuck this guy. This guy, I'm sick of his shit." And like he was actually saying shit. I'm sick of his shit. Blah blah blah. That felt real.
Yeah, but for as good
Sammy's disgust towards MJF being in the group, that felt real when he was doing that.
For the good stuff like that, it's ruined by certain stuff. Like
Right.
Tony Schiavone telling Callis, "I couldn't take it on last Wednesday. This is the worst travesty I've ever seen in my whole career." It's like, dude, come on.
You don't have to use that
It's
line.
like,
We've heard
stop
that
it.
one before.
Well, not only that, it's like, dude, you've been around since the early 80s. This is the worst thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, you've
oh,
seen
I'm
much
sorry.
worse.
Yeah, exactly.
You've seen much
it's like, I
worse.
understand we hate the
What about
WWE.
Sting?
We're trying to.
What about Sting coming back and being almost too human? Hey, man, it's Sting one more time, Tony. It's Sting! I'm like, that was fucking terrible. Stop.
Yeah, it's trying too
Don't
hard,
try
man.
too hard.
Yeah,
and I would have liked a little more mystery from Sting returning. He was almost like human. Hey, anybody want a burger? I was like, Sting, come back to the dark. What are you doing?
Want a burger?
Anybody want to go for pizza?
Want a Sting burger?
A shitty place out on Long Island. It's like, what the fuck? You can't anymore. There's plenty of shitty places.
All right, I got a side note for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
I'm in love with Raquel Gonzalez.
Really? She's a big girl.
Oh, she is big. She is awesome, and she is.
Didn't
sexy.
she just beat Rhea? Or no?
She just beat Amber
somebody.
Moon.
Ember
last
Moon.
night.
There we go. Ember Moon.
I'll tell you what.
Another one I can't stand.
You know what's scary? The women's talent in the WWE is so incredible.
Here we go.
But you know what? It goes back to, I gotta give you props, right?
What?
You said, hey, it's
overrated.
Men's wrestling's about men. And
in general,
even as great as the women are,
in general,
they can't beat what's happening in AEW right now.
Oh, no. No way. And the AEW women's wrestling's not so great.
It's terrible.
Wait a minute. What the hell, by the way? All these people,
what
did I see?
I know what you're going to say.
These people, they're freak. I don't like the freak. Who's Abaddon or whatever?
Oh, my God.
What was that chick?
Oh,
what was that?
I don't know,
dude.
Dude,
she's unsettling. She looks like me in the morning.
Oh, no, dude.
That was, no contact lenses in or anything. That was rough. That was rough.
All right, man, so we got about 9 minutes.
All right. 9 minutes.
Next Saturday, 10 a.m. start. Mm-hmm. We've got Pro Wrestling Superstar
Next Saturday
Mike.
or this Saturday?
This Saturday, sorry.
This Saturday.
10 a.m. start. That's tough for you. Mike Knox in
hell.
studio. Thoughts on Mike Knox?
Mike Knox, big dude. Very interesting career and has a few things to say about Shawn Michaels. This should be interesting.
And then at noon, we've got Savio Vega.
Yeah, I want to personally thank him for helping Tony Atlas get out of Puerto Rico. That's going to be one of the first things I do.
That's the first thing.
Thank you so much for getting Tony Atlas.
What are your best memories of Savio?
Not as intensely remembered as some of my other favorites. I'm going to be spending a week going, like, you know what I always do. Right. The next couple of days, I'm going to go back and check out all sorts of stuff to better formulate the things I remember and the things I'd like to say to the man when we meet him. But it's two excellent guests. We've done it again.
And then we'll be off next Thursday. Mm-hmm. And then that Friday, we've got former MTV DJ
from
and
Yo
Sirius
MTV,
DJ Dr. Dre in the house.
Right.
Followed by former Big Brother contestant, the incredible Gina Marie Zimmerman. And they'll be celebrating. We're gonna have a holiday celebration, my friend. A Christmas celebration, a little eggnog.
Eggnog?
Yeah.
That sounds great with me. I'll wear my holiday sweater.
What? You have a holiday sweater?
What are you going to wear? What is it going to say?
Well, I have a holiday sweater.
What has it got, Dr. Fauci on it?
It has Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
What is C? What is C?
With the C, honestly, the C, the H,
when you say Hanukkah, do you go Hanukkah?
Hanukkah, yeah.
You do, so this is C. Okay.
So let me ask you something as we're coming towards this festive time of season.
Festival?
Festivus.
Star Trek, sorry.
Festivus.
Festival.
What do you guys do for the holidays? Like, what are your plans?
So, since my household's a bit of a mix of religion, with my mom being Catholic and my dad being Jewish.
Wow. Interesting.
We celebrate the Passover right at my cousin's house, but COVID put a stop to that this year.
Okay.
And, now we normally celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah as well with my father. We do our the little prayer in the kitchen, just keep up with the culture, and as well just do it with him. And
so, do you put up a Christmas tree and a
menorah? Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. He's got the best of both worlds.
That's not bad.
I used to be the kid that everybody would ride by with the bicycle and the new dog, and I'd be sitting there going, "What's going on here?" I didn't get shit.
Well,
they'd be waving, right, going by on the new bike with the new. They'd come by with the new Kiss record, play it for me, and leave. I'm like, "You motherfuckers, happy fucking holidays!"
So Jimmy, my cousins, they're all almost all my cousins are Jewish.
Right.
They all get presents for Christmas.
Nice, interesting. Yeah.
They don't get.
Is there any kind of religious conflict in your family between your mom and dad?
No, in my father's side of family, the more Hasidic ones, they've written off family members and Rather, they've kind of written themselves off from the family because of religious discrepancies. But everyone in the family is very accepting of whatever religion you are. So,
imagine that.
By the way, I want to remind everybody out there, by all means, please like and subscribe our YouTube page, our Facebook page. Give us a thumbs up, even give us a thumbs down. They all count, right? You know, look, if you don't like what we're saying, by all means, we don't get angry over it.
Yeah, but be forewarned, if you piss us off enough, we'll come on your page and destroy you.
Well, look, if you're be an adult about it,
if you're a total dick, hey, we will come get you.
Call me fat, call me whatever. I'm all good with that stuff.
Sure.
But, the one thing they'll call us is marks. That's way beyond that.
What was the name of that guy? Zeth Van Herten? What was his name?
Van Halen.
Zeth Van Herten?
Some dude called us some marks on our page, and I just couldn't. First time I ever got mad over something.
I'll tell you what, though. I find it hilarious. You come into our house, you pee on our floor, so we come into your house and we take a big shit on your floor, and you're mad that we came into your house after you came into our house. You little bitch.
Again, look.
You little bitch.
You're in a public eye.
What the fuck?
People have a right to say,
you came to us and
we
caused
suck,
shit,
whatever.
So we returned fire. What are you going to do?
Return fire. So, got a couple of minutes left. 4 more minutes left, Farrell.
Yeah, what do you got?
Is the WWE in trouble?
No. The WWE's not in trouble. The WWE needs to continue to do what we've been saying. Keep your eyes out. Don't get complacent. Don't get cocky. And hopefully the right people behind the scenes will advise the right things, Is there a possibility that the WWE is selling to Disney and they just don't care anymore? I hate to think that. That would be the end. It would be the end of wrestling as we know it, Are you at that point where we were with WCW? Again, we've always said we're WWE homers. Mm-hmm. To me, look, a lot of people say all this wrestling is good for wrestling. Mm-hmm. At some point it is. Mm-hmm. But at some point you got to choose sides. That's the way I've always been, right? Sports team, whatever else. For me, it's almost war now. Here, you know what? It's real simple to me. I just can't do anything about it. If at any point AEW matches Raw and SmackDown's ratings, then yes, now we have what we had all those years ago. This is exactly where we are, and I will spell it out right now as we sit here. Raw and SmackDown, they peak out at 2 million viewers a week. AEW just got 1 million viewers a week. They're halfway now to where they want to be. I don't know if they'll get the other half of the way. So let me ask you this, right? Back in the day, was it 10 million against 9 million back in the Monday Night Wars? No, I think back in those days it was like a 5.4 at its peak to a 4.8 or a 4.9. So they were getting between 4 and 6 million. Do you think with all the streaming, like peaked out at like 8 on a couple of episodes? But like what Matt was saying, though, he streams everything, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like how many of these younger people don't, like you don't even have cable, right, Matt?
We do. I do, but it's mainly my parents who use it.
More so than cable, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So my point is cable views really that important? Like, okay, of course here's the thing. You watch a football game, I don't know. I don't love football enough to go watch it on a replay. Cable views are still the most important because more people are watching a football game on a television set than you are on a computer. But it might not be must-see TV, right, wrestling? Is it must-see TV?
I mean, I could say I watched WrestleMania with my friend last year, and we had to restart the website like 15 times. It was like awful.
Right.
It was an awful streaming service. So, with the right now, definitely stick to the TV.
Yeah.
Well, no, not paying $50 for a pay-per-view. No, thank you. I ain't doing that crap.
How about Mike Tyson still being able to make tons of money?
I thought that was a pretty damn good fight.
I thought they both kicked ass, and Mike Tyson looked fantastic. And Roy Jones Jr. is a tough mofo.
Yeah.
That was awesome. 2 great boxes. That was great.
All right, with that, we want to remind everybody we're back in studio this Saturday from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. We've got Mike Knox and Savio Vega in studio. We're off next Thursday, but then we have a special Friday holiday edition with DJ Dr. Dre and Big Brother Gina Marie Zimmerman contestant.
Nice.
Big Brother contestant, Gina Marie, who, by the way, is gorgeous.
Gee, I wonder why you booked her. No.
Anyway, this is Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh, and until next week, actually, until Saturday, later.